I'm excited today to talk about what's in store, the new era for clinical research. So let's get started. It's the top of the hour. I want to welcome everyone to this webinar where we're looking forward. We're looking at a new era for clinical research. What's in store for 2020? What's happening in this booming field of clinical research? It's my great honor to have Ballina Chang, formerly of the Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale. Now she lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Lauren, in a second, I'll let you introduce yourself. My name is David Silberman. I am the co-founder and CEO of Clinical Research Fastrack, and we're an organization that prepares individuals to enter the field of clinical research. This is a booming field. It's hard to get into without the proper training, experience, support, and connections. If you don't have the training, experience, and support to get in the industry, it's a long shot. But in just a few short weeks working with us, you are able to move into this exciting field, and our graduates are working across the country at places like the Mayo Clinic, where you came from, Lauren. They're working at Emory University, right down the street from where you are now, and they are at pharmaceutical companies, contract research organizations, and research sites around the country. Just naming them all would take up our entire time. So let's get started. Lauren, why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you? And tell us about your expertise in the field and how you've trained so many people in clinical research.
Yeah, thank you, David. I appreciate the introduction. I have spent my entire career in research. Got started on the bench. I think a lot of people, when they think of research, they think that bench science, the pipettes and petri dishes, and that is where I started. But I knew I wanted to work with people, and I wanted to do more and have a really broad impact in my career. And I kind of fell into the clinical research side, like so many of us have, before there were any sort of standards within the field or any sort of competencies that we all have to achieve. And so I've spent my career here studying pain and psychological outcomes and interventions after trauma. I have, like David said, I was at Mayo Clinic out in Arizona running trials there. And now I am here as the National Program Director, helping to mentor and guide our students, not just through the training process, but well beyond, so that they can move into these jobs, like David said, all over the country. That's one thing I love about clinical research. It's happening everywhere. Later in this webinar, I'm actually going to talk about a trial that's going on right now that they have a big focus on enrolling individuals across the country from very diverse backgrounds, especially aimed at rural areas and underrepresented populations. So little bit of, I don't want to give too much of a spoiler alert there, but I'm very excited to jump in. And so thank you all for joining.
Oh my God, I'm so excited, Lauren. Let's jump in right away. I know people want to get to the heart of it. What's happening in 2020? So I'm going to share the screen right now about what we're going to talk about today. There's so much going on, but we want to highlight a few different things. What's in store for 2020? Where are these investments? What's the future of medicine and the future of clinical research? And let's just kick things off right now. We are looking at genetic testing and gene therapy, cancer treatments, and technology. And we're going to cover these three topics. And we're also going to talk about what the opportunities are for you. How can you work in this exciting field? How can you be involved in the future of medicine and the future of clinical research? So just to kick things off, genetic testing and gene therapy. Many of our instructors, as well as our graduates, are working on this trial called All of Us. And Lauren, can you talk to us a little bit about the All of Us trial, which is enrolling over 1 million research subjects in this trial? What's going on with these 1 million participants? Can you share with us?
Yeah, I mean, this is really awesome. This is the study that I just alluded to. So that's the exact goal. They want to enroll 1 million individuals and collect a lot of interesting and diverse data on them. So genetic data, but we're also trying to look at past health records, future what's to come next. So they're going to be collecting prospective data on these individuals as well, tying in lifestyle factors. And the goal is really to help us identify diseases early. That way we can hopefully prevent them and also develop better treatments. So that's one thing I love about where this genetic testing and gene therapy is going. It allows us to venture into this area of personalized medicine, right? We all have a unique genetic makeup. We all have things that predispose us to certain diseases. And we know that it's not just down to the genetic level, but our lifestyle can impact this and other external factors. So that's really the aim of the All of Us program. And I love it because we have a lot of students actually working on this study. And again, the goal is to enroll these individuals, these subjects, into the study with diverse backgrounds, especially from rural areas. A lot of these populations are really underserved, especially in medicine. And so if we can understand more collectively, more holistically, people in general and these predeterminants, these risk factors for certain diseases, like Alzheimer's, like certain types of cancers, diabetes, even things that, you know, really, really plague us. If we can understand and kind of predict who will be at high risk for these things, we can intervene early. We can offer these very specific and personalized interventions. And that just saves time, money on the back end, gives people a healthier life. So I'm really, really excited about this. And like David said, we have instructors from this program. It's called the All of Us program. And I know a lot of our students are out there working on it too. It's cutting edge.
And it's not just this 1 million person study, All of Us. There's competition. UCSF has a study going on that's very similar, and they're looking at, with one blood draw, proteins to predict what diseases are coming your way so that we can catch them early, treat them early. And as many of you know, if we can catch a cancer, a tumor, or an ailment early, it can be cured and treated, or if you catch it too late, it can be deadly. This is going to be a game changer in the next decade, and we are a part of it. It's so exciting. Now, I also wanted to share a little bit more, not just about genetic testing, but about gene therapy. Now, what is gene therapy? Gene therapy is now at these stages where you can go and identify individuals with mutated genes, and we're able to replace the mutated genes with healthy genes so that they then can live healthier lives. Let me give you an example. We have a student of ours who's now an instructor. She's been in the field for over 4 years, Amy Raymond. She's at PRA Health Sciences, and she was working as a clinical scientist, developing a protocol, working on this for a rare genetic disease that caused blindness in children. These children, after 5 years of age, would go completely blind. Really tragic. Well, this new genetic treatment that they developed was an injection, and the children would get this injection, and it would reverse that mutation, that genetic mutation, to the point where now these children can see. They were blind, and now they can see. It's an absolute miracle. That drug was approved last year. It's called Luxturna. It's on the market, and it's for a rare disease. It's not a lot of children that are born with this, but for those that do, now there is this hope of sight. It's absolutely phenomenal. So genetic testing, gene therapy, this is the wave of 2020 in the future, and such an exciting place for us to work in. But let's keep moving, Lauren. Let's talk a little bit about cancer research. We know that cancer can be devastating to so many families. It touches all of us. Can you tell us what's going on in cancer research, and what is CAR T?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on in cancer. We've seen some really breakthrough blockbuster drugs approved in the last couple of years. Keytruda is one of those, absolute game changer, where someone would be given a death sentence. Basically, you have a few months to live. Now with treatments with things like Keytruda, they're living years. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable. And with good quality of life too, right? We always have to factor that in. Not just is this person living longer, but are they living longer, healthier, better, able to actually enjoy their life? So that's kind of happening. And I know Keytruda and other drugs like it are going through a lot of testing, but I want to talk for a second about CAR T. This is absolutely where we are going in cancer treatment. Again, kind of thinking of this like personalized medicine type thing. So we have in our bodies these kind of natural immune system, right? This our own inherent fighters. When something is happening, when something is attacking us, we attack back. We don't just passively let it happen. But often the cancers are too strong against our internal fighting system. And so what I love about CAR T therapy, it's so interesting. So scientists have actually been able to take our own immune system from this person, take these cells, replicate it, and they actually outfit them with these little, they call them like little warheads that will actually target the tumor when it's reintroduced into the person, into the subject, if we're talking talking research. So this has been highly effective in things like leukemia. I believe it's going into metastatic prostate cancer trials, where we're harnessing our own immune system. And how beautiful is that, where we can kind of bulk ourselves up by taking our own system. So of course, we're thinking about things like, you're not taking an exogenous type of chemical or something like that we're introducing. We're taking it out of our system, bulking it up, putting it back in with those specialized warheads that are just targeting the tumors themselves and really attacking. And I mean, that's where it's going, well beyond things like leukemia, of course. We're looking at it in a lot of different cancers. So this is the future.
Yeah, really, really incredible. And moving on into the future, I want to bring up one more topic, which I want to touch on for everyone who's watching. And I want to thank you all for being here. I see people are starting to ask questions. If you click on Q&A, you can ask questions and we'll get to them towards the end. But we just want to brief you, and we may answer your questions along the way as well. But I want to talk to you a little bit about these new technologies in clinical research. So it's interesting, even though clinical research is on the cutting edge of medicine, we are developing treatments today that will be prescribed in the future. So we are the future of medicine, but a lot of clinical research has been done with paper. And we're only now moving in to what I call eSource, eReg, eCRF, these new software developments that we're using in medicine already and in other fields are coming to clinical research. So up on your slide, you see eSource. And eSource, what the source documentation is that's all of the vital data and information that comes in regarding each patient in the trial. As a clinical research coordinator, you're collecting that data and you're entering it into a source document. And sometimes it's paper and sometimes you're writing in paper, but if we can enter it electronically from the outset, that will speed up the delivery of these trials. It will allow us to monitor the data and clean the data faster, and we will get to solutions quicker. And so this is a really exciting development in clinical research. It's happening now. There's several different organizations developing these electronic medical records, electronic source, electronic regulatory, and it's a really exciting development for our field. And I want to talk about one other cutting edge development. You can tell everyone you saw it here for the first time on this webinar, Clinical Research Fast Track, and that's virtual trials. So for those of you who are totally aware, a clinical trial is on human subjects. We have patients coming in and we're spending a lot of time with them. We're observing them, we're collecting information, and this isn't just going to the doctor once or twice. Often you have to go on multiple visits to check in regularly so they can monitor your health and make sure you're safe and everything is going well with you as a patient in this trial. And to do so, it can be demanding on the patient. Well, we want to have more patient-centric trials. What does that mean, patient-centric? We want to make it better for the patient to be in these trials so we can enroll more patients and we can develop more treatments quicker. And now we have virtual trials. There's a company, you can look it up, it's called VirTrial. They're the first FDA-approved virtual trial company. And what they are doing is allowing some of those visits to be through webcams and through virtual visits so the patient doesn't have to come to the doctor, 3-4 times a month. Maybe one visit, they're in person, they're at the doctor, but other visits they can do from the privacy of their home. They don't have to get in a car and drive across town. And now we're able to enroll more patients. We make the experience for the patients better. Lauren, this is just incredible. Are you excited about this new development with virtual trials?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, having run trials for so long, right? That some of the big barriers to meeting your enrollment goals in these trials are finding enough participants, and often it's participants they can't come to you. Now, I know some people might be scared. Virtual trials, okay, are we phasing people out? Is this diminishing the workforce? It's actually doing quite the opposite, because now this is freeing up more of our time to run even more trials, to kind of bring more balance. But we're also then being able to reach more people. I don't know if any of you are in somewhere like Atlanta, San Francisco, LA, any of these, New York, all throughout New Jersey. I don't know if you're somewhere where there's so much traffic. I know it sounds silly, but that can be a barrier to someone being in a trial. It's hard to just physically get there, and then they get there, they have to pay for parking, and where do they go? And it's such a hassle. So if we can eliminate a lot of these hassles to being in a study, we're going to get more participants, we're going to get better data, and it's just going to speed up the way we execute these trials. So I'm very excited about it.
And of course, as a clinical fast track graduate, you will be eligible to become virtual trial certified with VirTrials. And that's just another bonus of studying with us, working with us, and moving on in the field. Really exciting what's happening in 2020. And just so you all know, there were some questions about, wow, can I get a job in this field? And there are now over 127,000 registered trials in the United States. We are the leader in the world, and this is where it's happening. And there's a huge need for more applicants to these positions who are trained and qualified and ready to work in the field. So with over 70,000 open positions in clinical research, I have never seen a better time to get into the field. But Lauren, can you talk a little bit about the challenges and why it's so hard for someone without the right training experience to get in?
Yeah, I mean, being in clinical research, it's basically, you have to learn to speak a foreign language, and that language is clinical research. We have our own terminology for everything. So I'd say that's the initial barrier. If I say SAE, do you know what to do? If I say ISF, do you know what that is and how to maintain it? So first of all, we have to get speaking the same language. But then, of course, as you can imagine, we are testing new medications, devices, therapies, everything that's to come in the future. So it's highly, highly regulated. So there's regulations we have to follow. There's international guidelines we have to follow. I always say you have to know the rules of the game before you can play the game, right? So in research, we have to know those rules. We have to know those regulations. We have to know those international guidelines that we have to abide by. So yeah, that's some of the barriers. And everybody says they want someone with experience. But what that means is they want someone who understands what it takes to be functional in this field, to be successful, to onboard quickly, to become autonomous more quickly in that position, and to contribute.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's keep going. I mean, it's hard to get in the field, but again, this is a growing industry, and it's where there's more drug approvals than ever before. There's more developments as we're talking about. And this is a picture of our classroom right there in Atlanta where you live. That's Lawrence Mataruse. How do I pronounce his name? He is at Emory University, and he's an incredible one of our instructors. But when you're in our class, you don't just meet one. You're going to have experts coming in every day. Over the 8-day boot camp, we have 14, 16 different instructors who you're meeting who become connections. And I bring this up because not only to succeed in this field, you need training, but you also need some experience. And we put all of our students through a 2-week internship, giving them a taste. But then we provide the connections and support to help everyone get hired. So these are the 4 key elements to getting hired. And Lauren, why don't you briefly talk maybe about a student or two that's gone through our program and their journey to get hired. Can you mention at least one person so you can explain to the audience about what it takes to get training, experience, connections, and support?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of our recent students comes to mind. Her name is Kay, and she just, she had somewhat of a medical background coming in, but nothing really where she had been working in a hospital setting or something like that before. But, she came into our classroom, and our course is a blended learning model. So some of it is online, and that's really, you're learning a lot, and it's self-paced. It takes some self-discipline, some self-motivation. She just knocked it out of the park, came into our classroom, and just networked like crazy. Kind of that first one in the morning, last one to leave at night, because she was talking to the instructors so much. And again, all of our instructors are active and working in the field of clinical research. So, so much in life they say you got to network. It's about who you know. And so I find no one in life really ever gives you a platform to practice that networking, to practice talking to people in the field field that you want to be in. And that's exactly what we do in the classroom. And often our instructors identify talented individuals in the classroom and mentor them personally, or give them references, or help them along their journey, or sometimes they're hired straight out of class by the instructor. And so she's someone who just really excelled in that department, and it takes beyond just our classroom, right? We're going to give you the skills that you can carry out into the real world to keep doing exactly what we've taught you to do in the classroom. And so she's someone who carried that out of the classroom with her, and she just did an amazing job, and now she is hired as a coordinator, and she's down in Dallas.
I love it. So we have students in Atlanta, in Dallas, in Raleigh, in Scottsdale, around the country, and many students just travel for 8 days. That's all it takes to travel, 8 days. The rest of the program is right there at home where you live. Because if you live in Denver or you live in New York, you can do your internship right in your hometown for 2 weeks. You do the online work at home, and then, yes, we support you in helping you find a job. How do we support you? We're going to support you with your resume, with your cover letters. We're going to introduce you to our connections. And our connections were immense when we started this organization. We had a network across the country of some of the top research sites in the country. And now it's just grown and grown and grown. So we know thousands of individuals in the field. Many are looking to hire, and we introduce our students to all of our colleagues, making it so simple to get into the field as long as you're willing to work. And you have to put in what it takes, okay? There's a saying, you can lead a horse to water, you cannot make it drink. There's another saying, God helps those who help themselves. And we are going to provide you with the training, the experience, and the connections and support. But as long as you work hard, you apply to those jobs, and you follow our guidance, you will succeed. And we have so many examples to show. Here's another shot from our class in Atlanta that just finished up. I want to get to some of these questions now, Lauren, because one of the questions that I see here is from, oh my God, this name, Subhankar. She has 10 years of experience in life sciences and diagnostic sales, but she wants to change into clinical research. Is it too late to take up the course now? And what kind of job prospects are there for Subhankar? Sorry about butchering your name, but Lauren, what kind of job prospects are there, and is it too late?
Yeah, I mean, it's not too late. Often we do have career changers in our class. It's, I'd say, more rare that we have someone fresh out of college or something of that nature. But really, to be in this industry, what it takes, you have to have a passion for healthcare. You have to be someone who is very organized, have attention to detail, and want to make a difference. You have to be a quick learner. You have to be willing to learn too, right? But someone with a background in life sciences and diagnostic sales, that tells me that you have those people person skills, all those soft skills that you need to exceed or to excel. And so, you know, for someone like you, Subhankar, with your background, I think it would be fitting. We've had people from way less relevant backgrounds, people who had been in marketing, people who had been in real estate, lots of individuals who were stay-at-home parents. And, you know, I can't tell you how many great skills you get from having that role in particular. So no, it's all about how you harness those past transferable skills, add in the research skills that we'll give you in the classroom, and then move into the industry.
Great, but great question. Zia asked, I was wondering if you all do job placement, and yes, we will support you every step of the way, helping you get a job. But there's one thing we can't do for you. We cannot sit next to you and interview for you. You will have to interview, and you will have to show your knowledge and background. We're going to prepare you for that interview. We're going to get you to the interviews. And the students who are bright and ambitious and learn, they get hired right away. And we have so many students working in the field right now. We can tell you story after story, but we are running out of time. Here is a question about a CRA role. And it asks about our students graduating and becoming CRAs. So first, I want you all to know a CRA is a clinical research associate. They are supervising trials, monitoring trials. They travel around the country, delivering trials to sites They're training the PI, the team, in the protocol of that trial. This is a very, very advanced position. They're making $100,000 a year or more often. Usually they start a little lower. But no, our students don't just walk right into CRA roles. They need more experience. And if anyone tells you, oh, take our class and you can come be a CRA, I have a bridge to sell you, and it's only $1,000 for that bridge. But the reality is our students, many are now CRAs because after taking our class, they're able to go into roles to learn, gain experience, advance, and then after 6 months, a year or more, they can become a CRA and make that great income, travel, and become a monitor. Many love being in the positions they're in. So it's really up to the individual, but what this industry have is room for advancement, opportunities, and opportunities for growth. And a booming industry. It's so exciting to know that every year you have the opportunity to get promoted, to earn more, and to develop into positions just like a CRA. Great question, and I'm glad you brought that up because yes, the CRA position could be a goal for you, and we can help you get there, but it won't be tomorrow. It will take a little bit of time to get there, and we want to make sure we manage everyone's expectations with that. Before we close, I want everyone to know the next class coming up is right here in Scottsdale, Arizona. It starts in the classroom on January 18th. And then 1 week later, Lauren, you're going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. Really exciting. I think that class starts January 25th. We just have time for one or two last questions. Lauren, do you see any of these questions that you wanted to answer?
Yeah, I see John asks, do you need a background in medical or health sciences? No, you need a willingness to work in the medical field and in health sciences. You know, is having a background in medical terminology and things going to help you? Yes, maybe. But like I alluded to earlier, we have some individuals who have taken our course with marketing backgrounds. Deidre here in Atlanta, she just landed a job at Emory. Her background was she was an educator for a while and then had worked in real estate. So again, you really need a passion for it. You need strong attention to detail, organizational skills, the soft skills too, and you got to be a hard worker. We can kind of give you the rest, and as long as you're willing to work hard, then that's kind of the background you need.
You know, and all of these questions now are asking the same thing. Redmi says, I was working as a medical officer in a cancer hospital. Somebody else, Manasi, was in Ayurvedic medicine. So yes, you can transition your knowledge, your passion for healthcare into this field with our training. Call us today or email us. Our contact information is on the screen. You can call us at 602-883-7944. If we don't pick up, leave a message. We will call you back and we can talk to you about the opportunities available for you in clinical research. This is such an exciting field. There's so much opportunity, and it really just takes the initiative, the motivation, and with your passion for healthcare, your desire to be in clinical research in 2020, this is going to be a fabulous, fabulous career, as it is for so many. Oh, one last question before we sign off. Is there any internships in the Dallas area? Absolutely. We have so many connections in the Dallas area. In fact, many of them are hiring right now. So we often have more opportunities of jobs and of internships than we have students to place them in. You do have to apply to our program. So please, please call us today, email us. Let me put that on the screen one more time. Our phone number is 602-883-7944. And if we don't pick up, I know everyone's busy during the holidays, just leave a message. We will get back to you. Or email us at contact@clinicalresearchfastrack.com. And we really look forward to hearing from you. Lauren, this is such an exciting field. Any last words for the group?
No, well, I thank you all for taking time out of your busy days, your busy schedules to join us today. One thing I love about clinical research is that we are always working in the future, working on the cutting edge. And we live in a time where, right, we're all carrying around computers in our pockets, and we're really understanding more about genetics, about technology, about how these things can really interface to develop these personalized medical treatments. And really, we're looking at stopping diseases before they even start. And I think 2020 is a year where we're going to see a lot of great breakthroughs, a lot of good information coming in. But the biggest barrier to running these trials is having enough good quality people to run them efficiently, to run them effectively. The more we can run, the better we can run, the more we find out sooner, the more lives we touch. So I'll just leave you with that thought. If you couldn't tell, I can talk about research all day, so I'll cut myself off now, but I wish you all happy holidays, and thank you again for joining us.
And happy holidays to you all. I'm going to answer one last question, which was, are we having training in Florida? Are we having training in Oklahoma? People all over the country want this training, and we have internships available in your home cities all over the country. So really, it's just 8 days of travel. If you can get away for just 8 days, come to our class, join us. The remaining 3 weeks can be completed right there in your hometown, and you can be working in clinical research in the beginning of 2020. I want to wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a happy new year. This is an exciting year for a new era in clinical research. My name's David Silberman. Thank you, Lauren Ballina Chang, for joining us today. And from Scottsdale, Arizona, I just want to wish you all a happy holidays. Take care.